deep work. Thank you. This was a very light book to read, but I think it went deeper because it emotionally, mentally, and also psyche-wise connected with each sentence. That I felt as if she was writing about me and my friends or the women in my life. Like my mother was working, she was independent, but she couldn't take decisions without my father. And whatever she did secretly, she would go, after 2 3 months she would tell him, and he would be like, I already knew, or he would then get upset, and so on and so forth. So basically I think uh, some words like clueless, unknown factor, money being unknown factor, and then seeking help. So basically it says this line, yet what I see is that while women have established, expanded their roles in relationships, when it comes to navigating the financial ramifications of the new world, they're still using old maps that don't get them where they are really, sorry, that really don't get them where they really want and need to go. So this line, I think I'm fortunate that 1 year back I stumbled and I came across wow, but there are so many women. There are women in my life, my friends who are still, they know about the course. I have make them come to the introductory sessions, but they are still procrastinating, saying, when I have the money, I'll do it, because the other things are taking weightage, like the kids' things and all. So I keep every week I am telling them. So they're like, you're not going to talk about wow, then we'll get on a call types. It's become like that. But the fact is, they're seeing the changes in me. So this change is not because of my own, desire to pick up my boots and start walking again. It is because I have a group of women supporting me. Like she said, I don't ask my husband, I don't ask my father, now I go to the community for help. So anything, any investment, anything lying idle, any saving, I have my community I can go and ask. I don't need to ask a husband who's equally clueless in my case. But the fact is, I felt that this is a very profound book, and it connected somewhere, so much so that I've passed it on to read. Maybe this will wake them up that there is a dire need for them to wake up and get their finances in shape. I was like, हम मैंने कहा मिलियनियर तो हम नहीं बने, लेकिन हमारे बच्चों को तो एटलीस्ट, आई डोंट हैव किड्स बट दे हैव, ऐसे तुम्हारे बच्चों को एटलीस्ट एक रिच आंट हो जो एक 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 पीछे से एक कुछ लेगेसी दे के जाए टाइप से ना. So this, they keep laughing about it, but they realize that there is a difference. And one of them finally said, I'll try reading it. So I think that for me was a big achievement.
Wow. Thank you so much, Amrita, because, one such woman like you had come into my life who said, hey, you should check it out. And that has made all the difference. And here you are, spreading it in your friend circle so that they can see their financial future just like you do now, right? And even in the book, it talks about how for generations, like how we have been with money. And we often, when we talk about money and why we are the way we are, we often talk about how it's in our conditioning. So the familial and societal traditions that she also touches upon, which has come through generations, and here we are today, and the actions we take today is going to bring about the desired changes in the future generations. Some of us have moved ahead, some are behind, and we're just we keep talking about this so that others can also see how them learning this today can not only impact their immediate their lives and the lives of the people around them, and maybe the next generation, but many more generations to come. So that's another bigger impact that we are creating, I think, by choosing to be financially educated. So wonderful. Okay, let me invite Priya. Priya, what have been your insights from the first chapter?
I think for me, the first chapter is such it's an introduction. And even before the chapter, when she's describing this lady Julia, who is her friend, and I could also totally relate with the chapter because I know that before Money Gym program, I was I had no clue basically. I could totally resonate with your experience, Sheetal. I've been working for 15 years, and I have literally just blown up my money, no money in savings. And when it was time for me to get married, my father had to pay for my wedding. I had not even saved up for my wedding. So it is um, such an eye opener that it's not just me. There's so many other women, and it's kind of universal, not just in India, but also abroad that this is happening. And in my family, for sure, my mother and my grandmother, I have not seen them doing this role of being the finance person in the house. And I was just reading some lines from the second chapter also, and it is somewhat in the culture, I guess. Women have not played that role, and but yeah, of course, it is. It's amazing, actually. In one way, it's mind-boggling that we've reached where we've reached in the last few decades, and yet we know nothing about how to handle our money. In fact, there are days even now, even after doing money gym, when I get nervous looking at the money in my bank account and I don't know what to do with it. And then I have to bring myself back and say, no, I have learned everything now, come back. So it's so much, even though I know now, I think it's still so much internal, resistance, somehow you can say, because it's not something that you've been seeing. It's not something you've seen happening normally in society, that women are taking charge. In fact, I don't think I have any, again, not blaming my family, but I don't have any female role model in my family either, who I can look up to and say, oh wow, okay, I can learn, I can see how she's managing her finances. There's literally nobody like that in my family. So so that has been my personal story of this, and I could totally relate to the first chapter. I mean, every single woman I know in my family is not doing it. So, and it was for all of those reasons mentioned in chapter 1. So yeah, that was mine.
Got that. Thank you so much. So you are the first woman, and now the others will follow. One day or someday they will follow, right? And what you shared reminded me of this question that came to my mind today about, why do we not see so many financially successful women around us? And the answer that I gave to myself is because there aren't so many financially educated women around us. And that's the gap that we are trying to bridge here. Right. So the more women become financially educated, the more financially successful women that we will get to see and be around with, and the more normal things will become. Right. I would like to read for everyone who's not yet read the book. So in this one, I think this is chapter 1, where she talks about, for all the advancements women have made in the last whatever number of decades, there are huge disconnects that she still sees between what we know and how we act, between what we think and what we say, between our ability as achievers and our financial underachieving, between how we present ourselves to the world and how we really feel about ourselves inside, between what we deserve in our lives and what we resign ourselves to, between the power we have within reach and the powerlessness that rules our actions. So these are some words I have highlighted for myself. Something else, women are making more money than ever before, but they're not making more of what they make. What do I mean by that? Your retirement money sits in cash because you haven't figured out how to invest it properly, so you do nothing. You've convinced yourself that you'll be working forever, so the value of each paycheck becomes meaningless. After all, there will always be another one. Your closet houses the wardrobe of a powerful and stylish woman, but the dirty secret is that your credit cards are maxed out and you don't know how you're going to pay them off. But it's not just about saving and investing. It's about not asking for a raise at work when you know you are being undervalued. It's about the fear and loathing you feel when it comes to pay the bills every month because you don't know exactly what you have, where it's going, and why there isn't more left when it's all said and done. It's about how you berate yourself all the time for not knowing more and doing more, yet stay resigned to this feeling of helplessness and despair as time ticks away. Yes. So, anything that anyone else has found to be relatable? For me, as I was reading this, thankfully now I'm able to say, oh, not anymore, not anymore for me, because I have taken a few steps. So that was a good feeling.
I think this, what you just read actually gave me goosebumps because, this line, you've convinced yourself that you'll be working forever, so the value of each paycheck becomes meaningless. This was like, it really hit home for me because this has been my thought process all along. I will be working. Frankly, before I came to Money Gym, I hadn't even heard of the term financial freedom. I knew nothing about it. Like, I didn't know there was such a thing as financial freedom. Not seen anybody in my life even talk about it. So I had no idea there is something like this existing in the world, that people are actually striving for it. For me, it was like, yeah, you work and you earn money and that's it. I mean, this is the life I've seen around me, everyone. I don't know, in India, it's like there is no other, people don't talk about it, right? Financial freedom. So it was such a new thing for me when I, came on Money Gym, and I was like, wow, it is possible to, to actually, then follow your passion once you're financially free. And then, of course, I, started reading up and found more personalities in the world who are talking about this thing. So, but yeah, it was very powerful, this line.
Wow. Yes. And even for me, Priya, financial freedom, retirement to me meant retiring at the age of 60. Again, didn't know about financial independence and retire early. Now at this age, almost on an everyday basis, even in the team, we talk about, okay, when do we attain financial freedom? Then we'll work out different numbers. We'll play around with numbers saying, okay, what would it take to retire in 3 years or 5 years? And the more we engage with these conversations, the more possible it seems to me, right? I might take 5 years, 7 years, but I keep driving this thought in my mind that it is possible, and how can I make it possible? How soon? What should be my contribution towards my funds so that I make it happen? So it's fun that way. Yes, it's a huge shift for me personally. Yes. So thank you for sharing. Inviting others to share. Go ahead.
I would like to share, if that is okay.
Yes.
So the first chapter is how I relate. Before that, anything. So first of all, thank you for this book club. I would have never started reading such a book, frankly, and just because this is a great push that you all create and this community. Otherwise, I would not be doing such a thing. So thanks for that you even started doing it. So about the book, the first chapter is how I relate when I see my mom, as we read in the book, right? We see a lot of women going into workforce, but they don't take charge. I've seen that in my family. My mom, all my aunts have been working. I mean, they were the first generation of women who started working, but my mom has never taken charge of her finance. It was always my dad used to do everything for her. Although she's a doctor, but she didn't know anything about finance. Her job was to earn money and take care of us. That's it. Even her IT file returns was done by my dad. So, and then I eventually, Anna, right now I'm working, and I've been working for almost 10 years. And I used to do some part of it. I see myself better than my mom, but it was innate in me that I used to think that it's my husband who is responsible to take care of the finances. I used to think he's responsible for it. I mean, now I think that is insane. Why should he be responsible? It is my money. I'm earning. I should be responsible. So, and now it's such a hit for me that how can I be thinking like that? And I'm very glad that I'm taking charge, and that makes my husband also very happy that I am trying to learn things thanks to the group, and trying to question things, trying to understand what finance is, how to manage my funds. And I really want to break this conditioning which we had since I don't know when. And for this, she also mentions that we have a dysfunctional relationship. Most of us have. I personally think I also have that relationship with money. The nurturing character which we have as women, that is comes very naturally to us, to our parents, our spouse or children, but not with money. So I'm in process of building this, and I hope it's a start. So I'm sure there's a long way to go, and I'll surely do it. Thanks to you guys.
Yeah, thanks for choosing to be here, right? The opportunity is available for everyone. The access is available to everybody, right? And we all come in our own time, I guess. So you've started, and with you, many more will begin, Abha. So thank you so much. Pratibha, Diksha, Sneha, inviting you guys to share from, even if you've not read from the book, but from all the discussion, what would you like to add?
Hi, everyone. Actually, I think this is very much relatable, and I think this is what I said about me conveyed during the last community session. I think everything is like pointing out, everything is matching actually. Yeah. So from the way we hoard things, and from the way we don't take care of our finance, or like how we are conditioned, to think that finance is not for women, everything is relatable. So yes, batti jal gayi hai ab.
Wow. Great, Pratibha. Thanks for doing that, right? Yeah. You had the switch all this while in your hands, and you just had to switch it on, and that's what has happened.
True.
Got that. And yes, Sneha, anything for you that you'd like to bring?
I love the 2 chapters today. I just started reading and it was inspiring, especially when she says that financially confident women, I mean, she is more confident and happier. Like there is a survey on happiness and they don't talk about money, but people who are financially independent are much more happier. So that was like an eye opener. We say money cannot buy happiness, but I think even if you are someone is admitted in a hospital, but if you have more money, you get better facilities, nice bed, good doctors. I think everything comes down to money itself. So it is really important, and that makes so much sense what she's saying. Loved her writing. I mean, I'm like, wow, those 2 chapters of me were like amazing. And thanks to Priyanka and team, like we have at least started the baby steps here, doing something about it.
Yay. Love having you in the community. Yes, Susie Orman has definitely written this book for each one of us.
Sheetal, I'd like to add here, there is on page 12, a line written by her, our money is an extension of ourselves. That got my attention. Then there was another, but money is not a person you can write out of your life. You need money to live. Okay, this realization I had in 2020. And if we aren't powerful with money, we are not powerful, period. This is the most profound one I got. And to what Sneha was saying, nothing more directly affects your happiness than money. This is how she closes chapter 2. So this was something I sent across in a morning message to my friends. So I don't know if it's their wake up, but I'll keep nudging them. And there's one paragraph, page 8, the last paragraph. which I kind of found very profound. For all the advancements women have made in the last 30 to 40 years, and without a doubt, they're remarkable accomplishments. I'm stunned by how little has really changed in the way women deal with money. So basically, you were 35, you said 31 or 35 when you started. Then I think someone mentioned they were 39. In my case, I was 48 last year when I started. So look at me. I have to do what you can do in 20, 30 years. I have to do it in a dozen years, you know. So I think, like I mentioned in our last candid conversation, it's not time to regret. It's just to think what best you can do and put your best foot forward and start looking ahead and not look back is my lesson, you know.
Thanks so much, Amrita, for adding that. So now let's do some reading together. These are really small chapters, and we can now read. Let's read from chapter 3. Inviting anyone who would like to read the book for the community. This chapter is titled No Shame, No Blame, and I will be sharing the screen and the book on the screen. So who would like to read for the community? Do put your name in the chat. Okay. Thank you, Yadu and Priya. So Yadu, please go ahead, and we will pause and then just make a note of whatever clicks for you, and then we'll pause and we can share whatever feelings and emotions it brings about. Okay. So Yadu, is this good for you? Wait.
Yeah, just I think the previous one was okay. If you can, yeah, this is all right.
Wait. Yeah, that's fine. Hey.
Like,
Okay.
no,
Is this fine? Yeah, I think this is better. This is a better view.
yeah.
Okay, here you go.
Yes.
Hmm.
So, no shame, no blame. In order to build a healthy relationship with money, there are some attitudes I'm going to ask you to cast off forever. First among them are two of the heaviest weights women carry: invisible twin obstacles of our past, the burden of shame and the tendency to blame. You don't feel confident in your knowledge of how money works, so you hide behind the shame of it, deferring decisions to others or staying stuck in a pattern of inaction. You wrap yourself in the cloak of shame rather than reveal your shortcomings. You, after all, are a doer. You have to be all the things to all people: mother, wife, dutiful daughter, supportive friend, school volunteer, cheerleader at home and at work. No room to betray uncertainty in that picture. No time to learn anyway. Who has the time? You're so busy. And besides, you tell yourself, I probably should have learned that ages ago. When did everybody else learn this and not you? Maybe you were absent that day. At this point, it's simply too embarrassing to reveal the depths of what you do not know. Okay. And where the mantle of shame stops, the tendency to blame kicks in. It's not my fault, you tell me. A society, my parents, my husband or ex-husband, all of the above held me back. Where were the role models? No one taught me. No one showed me how. Money decisions were always made for me. Now, I'm not belittling these factors or making fun of you. There is a lot of legitimacy in these complaints. Long standing traditions in society and in the home have not made it easy for women to get the financial education they need to become competent, informed participants in their own affairs. Even today, no one is going to hand it to you. You have to go get it for yourself. It amazes me that a person can go through 12 years of school 4 years of college, and then on to graduate study. And nowhere along the way were they required to take a single class on personal finance. But let me ask you this. Where does the blame get you? The answer is nowhere. Blame renders you powerless. You must get past blame to become who you're meant to be. And what does shame do to you? Shame only serves to hold you back. This book is about facing forward, not staying stuck in the past. It is fine to understand how we got here, but the next breath must contain a resolve to move ahead into a future that looks entirely different, into a destiny that is all yours. I want you to use your past to propel you into your future rather than keep you in the. Can you scroll down? Rather than keep you in the dark of what no longer exists. Easy for you to say, Susie. Is that what you're thinking? Are you wondering what I could possibly know about your situation? After all, I'm rich. I have everything I need, everything I want. You're right, I'm rich, but that was not always the case. Do you think I was raised in a family that had money and paid for a fabulous education? Do you think I had an MBA from some fancy business school? Nothing could be further from the truth. Maybe you think I married money. Not true. In fact, I never got married, which is probably why I have money today. Let me tell you where I came from and how I got here. So you will understand that there is no excuse, no amount of shame or blame that can hold you back and keep you from becoming all you are meant to be and having all that you deserve. Susie's story. When I was a little girl, I had a speech impediment. I couldn't pronounce my R's, S's, or T's properly. So words such as beautiful, for example, came out as boobital. To this day, if you listen closely when I speak, you can still hear it. Words like fear and fair and bear and beer sound the same, but a word like shouldn't comes out sounding like shunned. Back then, because I couldn't speak well, I also could not read very well. In grammar school on the south side of Chicago, I had to take reading exams and would always score among the lowest in the class. One year, a teacher decided that he would seat us according to our reading scores. There were my three best friends in the first three seats of the first row, while I was banished to the last seat in the sixth row. If I always secretly felt dumb, it was now officially confirmed for everyone to see. Talk about feeling ashamed. This feeling that I couldn't make it scholastically continued to haunt me throughout high school and on into college. I knew I would never amount to anything, so why even bother to try? Nevertheless, in my family and in the families of my friends, it was a given that we'd all go to college. In my case, I knew that I would have to pay for college myself. Could you scroll down? Okay. Because my parents were having a hard time with money. The only options for me were community college or a state college. So I applied to the University of Illinois at Urbana-Champaign. And to my amazement, even though I did not score well on my SATs, I was accepted. When I arrived, I met with a guidance counselor who asked me what I wanted to study. I told him I wanted to become a brain surgeon. He looked at my grades and said, I don't think so. You don't have what it takes. Why not try something easier? I did a little investigation and found out that the easiest major was social work. So I signed up for that. Why not take the easy way out? Why try harder? During my first year at the University of Illinois, I lived in the Florida Avenue residences in room 222 and worked in the dormitory's dish room 7 days a week to pay the bills. In my second year, I shared a one-bedroom apartment off campus with two friends I had met in the dorm, Carol Morgan and Judy Jacqueline. Judy had a hilarious boyfriend named John Belushi, and the four of us had quite the adventure for the next 3 years. Yes, this is the very same John Belushi who went on to superstardom on Saturday Night Live. Judy and John got married, and the rest is history. But that's a story for another book. I was supposed to graduate in 1973, but my degree was withheld because I had not fulfilled the language requirement. Once again, it was the shame of my grade school years holding me back. If I had trouble with English, what made me think I could learn a foreign language? I decided to leave school without my degree. I wanted to see America. I wanted to see what a hill looked like, a mountain, the Grand Canyon. Yeah.
And maybe we pause here.
Sure.
I would like to really have everybody reflect on what Yadu has read for us, and what are your takeaways from whatever we have read so far? Who would like to share? Please go ahead.
I think even till date, the feeling of not wanting to be blamed, I think it comes sort of with finances in general, because when I asked, even my husband, because he's also not been doing so much financial planning. So when I joined Money Gym, he was really happy because finally some planning was happening. But I think even he felt this, not wanting to be blamed. What if you make a wrong decision with your money? And that's very much in me as well. Even now, even after learning Money Gym and the stocks program as well, I feel that sometimes I feel afraid, what if? Because I don't want the fear of failure. I think she mentioned somewhere the fear of failure is so strong, that fear that you don't want to take the step. You'd rather be in inaction than making a mistake. So I can resonate very much with that. I still have it. Yeah.
Got that. And it's making me think, Priya, that because I'm not married, I don't have that kind of fear, because there isn't another person to really ask me what I'm doing with my money. Of course, there is a community and my friend circle or the team where we would talk about, and then we will see how not to make a mistake, and we will take those actions, right? But this fear isn't there it does not exist for me at this point. So I'm just thinking, what are the other fears? Do I still shame myself? Do I still blame myself? These are some questions I'm taking away for reflection. And what are some shortcomings I may want to reveal?
I also totally resonated with the point. Sorry, I'm not letting anyone else speak, but the fact that there's nothing on personal finance. It's such an important topic, but we don't learn it through our school or university. It's just mind-boggling. It should be there. I mean, somebody should have it in there,
Yes, and it is beginning, because I was really surprised to know that as small a town as my hometown, so my nephew, he was in class 9 last year, and then he shared that there is some tiny subject around money, but of course I could see clearly how it is not being delivered, or it's not adequate to even set the foundation. It then of course made me question if the teachers, because it just seemed like a 15-point examination or test that they will have to appear. None, but on the other side, it did make me really happy to know that it has been it has been identified as a gap, and some initiation has happened. But again, it is going to take a long time for us to get there. So that is one thing. So there are some steps being taken.
It's also about bringing these conversations into the family. So I had seen this. I had Marwadi neighbors who were into business, and they had a young kid. So he was around almost like 10 years younger to me, and this little kid, he would constantly, like, probably because he was still not going to school, he was always with the elders at home. So he had learned how to make a bargain with the sabzi walas. He had an opinion on the price of everything, the value of everything. And I used to be like, this kid is like, so like he was a child, just like 7-8 years old, and he already understood how to handle money. And here we still fumble to even bargain on the silliest of things. So it's just about having that confidence. It's not a study that you have to do. Like, nobody educated this child as such. It was just what he picked up. And it's also about there's a lot of power play in a lot of families where, okay, the tijori ka chabi is only with the matriarch of the family, or only the dad has the money making decision, so everybody else shouldn't even talk about it. So we need to change all these mindsets right from the beginning, and involve children more, and let them have opinions in these aspects.
Well, I want to add to what Yadu said. It's about mindsets, and it's also about empowering. Like, for instance, when we give pocket money to children, while some parents just give random amounts, thinking that let them, because they were deprived of pocket money. I'm seeing this in my generation as kids we didn't get, so we are making sure our kids are empowered. Having said that, I'm also seeing certain parents, for every 1 rupee, 10 rupee that they give, because 10 rupees is nothing today, it's stay, So they are like wanting their pound of flesh. So that also affects the person's relationship with money. Like in my own case, I don't know about others, but I had an open environment. But what she said, till recently after marriage, I got to know what is the price of milk, of something that we drink daily. Like, I didn't even know what a liter of milk was, the cost. Of course, I knew my subsidies because you get to hear or you go shopping, but something milk, because it was delivered at home, packet of milk, and it was paid by my husband. So I wouldn't know. It was these questions from my mother asked me, like, what is your monthly budget? And I was like, hey, what are you talking about? Because I was doing my own spending. My husband was doing his own spending. And we realized that, and it got me, when I went to Money Gym and I put down the money in out, Priyanka was the one who pointed, saying that it is not what you're thinking, it is at least 40K. And I was shocked because I was thinking between the two of us, what the hell are we doing that we're spending so much? So each month, of course, like, expenses are there, and post-COVID, everything is skyrocketed. So now I know what a coconut is worth. I know all my things is because I'm making it a point. So what Yadu said and what Priya said, the third point is that you need to empower your children with money. You have to give them the choice to make that mistake. So Priya, the fact that we didn't make mistakes is where we got here. Like, we just fill with a big rock of guilt that wish I could. At least you still have time. I felt that if I had done this 20 years back, I would have been definitely in a much better space. But now I don't think like that, because I spent 6 months in guilt and sitting down and telling myself what an idiot I am. I was educated, I was the woman of substance and, independent woman, not married, doing all that. And then I kind of, that rock literally weighed me down till I came to the conclusion that, chuck it. I am fine. I can start now and I can get there. And thankfully, I don't have to the goals are just save for your retirement. That is what my focus is now. And I'm a much like this space, and I wake up with early morning. Getting up at 6 was a tough thing. Now I'm on my own without an alarm. I'm able to get up at 5. So that whole thing is coming from the awareness that my relationship with money has made me realize that, okay, I made a mistake. And like it says, we don't need to look for role models. The 3 role models we got, Sheetal, Priyanka, and Hira, are enough. And the other women in the community are inspiring us to become a role model, and probably in someone else's life. That is why. So I came up with this random thing. You know what? I want to make an impact on one person in my life who's not related to me. So that is my new motto, and I'm working with it. God knows I might be able to do it, I might not be able to do it. But that's what is driving me nowadays. I've said enough.
Wow, you touched my heart by saying that you would want to, now the motto is to impact one woman, one person you do not know. Wow.
Because look
Thank
at you, you have amplified so much. See, a one woman made change in your life, and you compounded. Sheetal, it's like the gratitude that is not only me. I hear at least 10 women who come, at least 4 women thank you for bringing you here. So it's like, I'm sure somebody else, I'm not looking for a return because I've invested here, but my aim is that at least let me touch 4 more lives. Maybe I'll be successful in converting one person to think like me and be financially aware and free and live a life of happiness.
Yes, freedom and happiness. And to add to, there were 2 points that came to my mind from what you guys have shared now. One is, we often talk about making children rich. Now that we are in a more responsible state, our eyes have opened up. We now want to ensure that the next generation, the children in our lives, they are more responsible. But then to empower them with the responsibility is the ability to respond. So we empower them with the ability to respond to financial situations in their lives. Make them able is the point, right? Make them able. And how are you doing that is a question. And somewhere I had read sometime in an article that financial literacy to this date is inherited. And that if you grow up, because financial education is not still in the system. So if you are in a family where your mother, father, people talk about it, you become financially educated. Otherwise, maybe no chance until you run into Women on Wealth at this point. So that is also, this was really groundbreaking statement. Financial literacy is inherited. I was like, oh, that's why I did not inherit financial literacy, because it didn't come. So these are some.
It's time to stop blaming others and take responsibility ourselves.
Full responsibility, absolutely.
Totally.
Yes. So
to add to what you said, Sheetal, I'm sorry, I wanted to cut you in between, but then I stopped. You said that it's time to empower. So probably if we impart whatever we learn, the next generation doesn't have to come to their parents for an MBA.
Yeah. Oh, you've got on mute, Amrita.
They can surprise their parents saying, what, I saved up for my MBA while working, after doing my bachelor's. So there are a lot of kids I have come across who have saved up and have gone abroad and have taken permanent residency, and they saved up for that journey. So I think they must be having, again to that point, their parents must have taught them financial literacy.
Yes, this will become the norm, okay, in a couple of years. So let's keep working towards it, everybody, every day. So thank you so much, everyone, for coming to this discussion. If you've loved the discussion here, then do share in the community, and then invite more of your friends to read this book with us, and then join the discussion if they can. So to continue with this book, we will pick up chapter 3 and 4, and whatever insights we're receiving, whenever you're reading, do share a line or two, because many of us have also expressed that reading a book or making that a habit is also a challenge. Or what time can we read? How do we take our time? So keep sharing tips on these as well, so that more women, more of us can pick up the book and get the value out of this. So lots of love. Keep coming in and keep sharing about Women on Wealth. So this weekend we will be doing another webinar where you can send in your friends and family. You can reach out to us and then share the invite with them. Okay, so Saturday, tomorrow, we're doing a stocks introduction session at 3 o'clock, and Sunday morning we will be doing the introduction to Money Gym at 11 a.m. So do send your friends and family. So
Shikha, can I
thank you so
ask,
much.
when does the next stocks program start?
Stocks program, October.
October.
Yes. Okay. So thank you. Everybody have a good evening. Take care.
Thank
Lots of
you.
love.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Take
Hi,
care.
thanks everyone.